Good afternoon, everyone. You're very welcome to Twickenham Stadium. You're welcome to the Aviva Premiership Final. Come on in, take your seat. If you can't be in the ground, please join us from your sofa. We have got an incredible final coming your way. It is Bath against Saracens, and of course it's not just their fans watching today, it's rugby fans up and down the country. So who are you going to support today? Are you going to be a Bath fan? Are you going to be a Saracens fan? Whoever it is, the very best of luck to you. So the teams are about to come out in the pitch. It is Bath against Saracens. To talk you through it, Ben Kay, Austin Healy and Ali.
Thank you, Craig. Afternoon, everybody. Brilliant buzz, isn't there, already around this place? The excitement, the passion of these two sets of fans. Bath supporters, of course, in years gone by, used to treat this as an annual pilgrimage for all those cup finals back in the mists of time. More recently, it's been Saracens who've taken up regular residence in the Cabbage Patch. Today, beautifully poised between two contrasting sides and, of course, one giant silver trophy. Bath unchanged from the side that ripped Leicester apart at the Wreck last weekend. Much was made of the clinical attack that day, but the defence was superb in thwarting the Tigers. Francois Lowe was at the heart of all of that, leading the charge from open side with Burgess and Houston alongside him. There is no shortage of muscle power. Mike Ford's choice for the big one at hooker is Ross Batty, a form pick over Rob Webber. Similarly at scrum half, where the ageless Peter Stringer lends all his experience. The midfield takes care of itself these days with finishing power out wide that includes last week's hat-trick hero Matt Banahan, back in the tries and back on the grandest stage. Saracens have also left their 23-man squad well alone following that bruising win at the Gardens. Still no place for Chris Ashton. Dave Strettle switches to the right wing in what might very well be his last Sarries outing before a French adventure next season. The prolific Chris Wiles occupies the left. Owen Farrell will control operations from 10, a standout performer against Saints. Despite so much time on the sidelines in this campaign, a familiar look up front with Jamie George given another opportunity to display why he is the man to step into the England boots, left vacant by the hot-headed Dylan Hartley. So the players gathering, the countdown has begun. These precious final few moments, the coach's work is done. It's the players' turn now to prepare for battle.
Before final, you're so nervous, you just wanted to start. It feels like an eternity.
I've got a bit of a routine. I'll fix up my kit, boots on, shirt on. I'll take myself to the cubicle, put some water on my face, just to cool myself down, just to stay calm.
A lot of walking around, a lot of head knocks. You feel like a bit like a crazy man at that stage.
Well, getting a group of guys together.
Shoulders twitching.
Getting ready to go out and do battle. Puts me shivers down your back that there's 15 boys linked together and we're going to give it all.
You can feel something brewing inside, something that wants to explode.
Everything's ready to burst. The last 30 seconds.
By that stage, you've got to be ready to go.
You look at the teammates around you, everybody knows something really big is going to happen.
But that knock goes.
All the anticipation, all the talk is gone. It's time to go.
So the secrets of the inner sanctum, Ben, does that piece reflect the way you guys used to feel ahead of a big match?
Oh, absolutely. It's got us fired up here. And I think that last minute is all about preparing yourself. It's the last minute you've got to con yourself into thinking, when I get out there, I've got to put my body through something it's never been through before. I've got to leave nothing. There's no next weeks. I've got to leave everything on that field. And the guys that were most prominent in there for me were the back row boys. And I think that's vital. The likes of Sam Burgess against Maro Itoje, and then Vunipola and Houston, the explosiveness, and then the people who are going to put themselves probably through the most pain. Francois Lowe against Jacques Berger. That battle for me is just huge.
Interesting to see, Austin, just a moment or two ago, Owen Farrell concentrated, staring at the ground, just in a fixed spot, trying to get his thoughts clear.
Yeah, probably going through some mental rehearsals, some of his processes, how he goal kicks, what his first skill is, the kick-off. where he wants the team to go. But there's so many great battles all across the field. Ben's spoken about the forwards, but today, and really, I think this is going to be won by the back threes. Those ability of Bath to real counter Watson, Banahan, Rockadaguni in the air in particular, versus the kicking ability of Good, Strettel and Wiles, really mouth-watering across the back lines.
So Saracens, the last to assemble of the two sides, a fourth Premiership final in 6 years for them, and in a very different space to this day. 12 months ago, when of course they turned up here to take on Northampton, just a week after having their European hopes dashed by Toulon. The calendar did them no favours. Different situation today. There's the prize. And a fabulous atmosphere all around this famous old stadium, soon to be full to bursting. Our fans feel they've waited an eternity for this moment. They've gorged themselves on the successes of the late 80s and particularly the 90s. By those standards, there has been a drought. This Bath's first Premiership final for 11 long years. What an opportunity they have. Under Mike Ford, they've developed into the best attacking force in the land. Today, they have to prove it by unlocking the tightest defence, the most uncompromising of outfits. They've certainly got the personnel to do it. Wayne Barnes is our referee, been given the big one 6 times in the last 8 seasons. The last time, of course, he gave Dylan Hartley his marching orders a couple of years ago. He's assisted today by JP Doyle and Greg Garner. Graham Hughes, the TMO, called into action after 100 minutes last year to award that famous Alex Waller try. So a day to savour, a clash of styles to relish. The two best teams in England going toe-to-toe for the right to be crowned Aviva Premiership champions of 2015. Saracens will get us underway. And it is Owen Farrell who, for 80 minutes at least, has to suspend his friendship with his opposite number, George Ford. And a first touch of the ball for Anthony Watson as he drives over the 22. One of the standout performers this season in that crackling Bath backline. Ford thumps it away and finds Alex Good. Always seems to be in the right place at the right time. A little gamble across the field, and Chris Wiles is relieved of the ball, and the chase is on, and Rockadaguni is hurtling after it. Wigglesworth did well, and that was a situation which Saints, of course, suffered early on in their match against Saracens in the semi-final, which led to that Dave Strettel try. Boot on the other foot there.
Use it!
George Cruz tries to buy an extra metre or so. The Saracens so slick in their exit strategies normally. Wigglesworth with that cultured left boot, and safely away. He's gained good ground as well.
Yeah, it's a good bright start from both teams, and they're off again. Watson getting good early time on the ball. It's a high tackle though. Doesn't look in a good shape.
Just call him, it's okay.
Taking a little while to get to his feet as well. Here's the replay. Anthony Watson is the man, and it was Farrell who came thundering in.
The referee might want to have a quick look at it, but I'm not sure. Always looks worse in slow motion. I think Owen Farrell coming in to make the tackle at chest level. But the tackle from Jamie George is good. It's Bunapola is good. Just starts to drop down. It's a little bit high. You've got to be careful. The referee will want to make sure it's not reckless. It's reaching out.
Well, it's an early decision for Wayne Barnes to make, as the medics work their magic.
Back on.
Doesn't look in his best shape. Certainly it'll take a little bit of recovering from. Bath anyway have the penalty and can thump this into enemy territory. Safely away, and a fabulous attacking platform, even if their fullback was poleaxed in the process.
Immediately, the Bath players
Line's yours.
heading
Saracens,
over
line's
to
yours.
their captain. Make sure they get the call right. He'll be last into this lineup, weighing up exactly. He'll have done his analysis, but I want to know how Saracens are going to defend. Trying to add tempo to it by coming in quickly.
Ross Batty preferred to Rob Webber, finding Dave Atwood in a crunching hit in midfield. Berger and George combining. Inside ball for the skipper, Stuart Hooper, in his 15th season of top flight rugby, his first Premiership final. Joseph, surely a marked man this afternoon. He'll have a target on his chest, as so many of that midfield will have. Here's Eastman. Forward again. Francois Lowe in the midfield. The line speed, as you would expect from Saracens, razor sharp in these early exchanges. Here's Burgess. One of the matchups to relish this afternoon between Sam Burgess and Maru Itoje. Francois Lowe again held up, getting no change out of those white shirts. Davy Wilson. This is what Saracens will look to do to thwart each of the attacks. A little dig over the top from forward. Joseph can't gather it, and it falls instead for Jamie George, who sticks in a clever little kick. And that's tricky for Banahan. And he shinned that one as well. Taken by Wiles. Banahan up fast with the tackle, as he had to. Makavunapola on the charge. Plenty of meat to throw at the blue, black and white. Here's his brother. Good. Berger. Inspirational in that semi-final. Makavunapola again. Wilson making a very big impact on the tackle this time. Farrell tries to release Billy Vunapola. Dave Atwood having none of it. Patience here from Sarries. Farrell digs it through. Big hit coming in from Sam Burgess on the Saracens 10. Stringer away.
Yeah, Burgess entitled to make that big hit. Farrell took a long time to find where the spot of grass he wanted to land that on. Burgess had spotted, knew exactly what he was going to do. Accelerated into the contact. Farrell lifts his trail leg off the ground. But fully committed. We've seen a couple of big hits from the men you'd expect so far. Burgess for Bath, and a huge one for Jacques Berger.
It's a good hit from Burgess, but what he runs the risk of is running away from his defensive line, creating a dog leg. The more they see that, the more runners off Farrell will become part of the game.
So here's Jamie George, of course, promoted to the England's World Cup training squad at Hartley's expense. Barrett sent up on a charge. A little bit of room to work with here as well, Sarries. They've got some width out wide, certainly, and maybe Wiles will be able to exploit that. Banahan collects. Stringer in a spot of bother at the base of that ruck. Needed the help from Rokandunguni. Sarries have done excellent work in recent weeks of spoiling possession at the ruck. There have been stray boots left, right and centre.
There you go, hold on, stop, thank you.
And Ford tucks it away.
No touch though.
Good. Saracens keen to play at real tempo. Stratton released on an outside arc. Houston chasing. Watson misses the tackle. Houston was there though. 5 metres short. Lovely burst from Stratton. Makavunapola. Farrell. Billy Vunapola takes it at the second attempt.
It's on left at the quick.
Bath has slowed it up. Have they slowed it up sufficiently? Taylor uses Farrell for the corner. Owen Farrell and Saracens fire the first shots of the final. Well, he's had a frustrating time of it this season, Owen Farrell. For so long sidelined with knee trouble, with calf trouble. He's seen his England shirt being occupied by his opposite man today. Real statement.
Yeah, brilliant counter-attack. They forced the ball kick from Ford. Big space on the outside. They stretch on this wide pitch. They stretch the Bath defence, and then as they come back, the little ball behind the back. Billy Vunapola really does well to keep his eye on the ball. Gets those extra yards. Now it's all about the scramble from Bath. Can they get around the corner quickly enough? Good push. And then Farrell stays alive on the inside. Little show and uses the traffic to get himself through.
It's often the way, isn't it? The ball goes on the floor, it bounces up. A little bit of fortune means the defensive line is out of kilter. And it's a wonderful dummy by Farrell in the end that lets him go through. Banahan just takes it slightly and over he goes.
Just think the ball from Mako Vunipola that went behind Petrus du Plessis, just creating that opportunity, holding the Bath defence.
That is a fabulous conversion as well. 7 points to Owen Farrell, 7 points to Saracens, and the ideal start for Mark McCall's men.
Really, we've seen the tactics of both sides. Here's the behind-the-back pass. Doesn't quite go to Billy Vunipola's hands, but he does well. And then after that, Bath always scrambling. The line speed's good. They forced the error. But then the little show and go around the corner. And not enough scramble defence.
So Ollie Devoto has taken the place of Anthony Watson, who's headed for a head injury assessment. Perhaps should have happened a little while ago, if we're honest. Anyway, Saracens with something of a platform to work off. And of course, Owen Farrell had a try disallowed in last year's final due to a forward pass. No mistaking it this time around. Wigglesworth. Taken well by Devoto. And Sarri's keen to keep the ball alive here. Billy Vunipola straightening. And heading directly towards Jonathan Joseph. They'll be looking to combine together in England colours, of course, in the World Cup here in the not too distant future. A lot of Stuart Lancaster's World Cup squad on display today. More than a third of the 50. Banahan turns nicely. Shaking off Strettle, but Strettle clings on. Burgess. Forward. Crossfield for Rocco. Towering kick. And a fabulous take from Wiles. Wigglesworth. Hargreaves. Noticeable the pace at which Sarri seemed keen to play this afternoon. But again, the regular strategy of the box kick from Wigglesworth for the chase.
That's very formulaic from Saracens, but so effective. We're seeing the two contrasting styles. We've seen Bath attacking with their loose runners. Watson's had a couple of doubles. But Saracens holding the midfield defence, getting it out wide, putting the little nudge through for the wingers to chase. And then when they get down into their own half, going to that Wigglesworth box kick game, followed by a really good kick chase.
What has been noticeable is how Saracens have kept their attacking shape and their defensive shape, whereas Bath seem to have lost it. If we take a look back at Saracens, this is what got them on the front foot early on. Big tackle from Jacques Berger, as you'd expect, but then watch what happens. Look at that defensive line. Sarri's all week. I went to watch them train on Wednesday. They have people on their feet as often as possible. What that means is then we blitz on the outside with Farrell, 3 or 4 guys led by Farrell, forces forward back to the inside. They can't get that diamond formation in on second or third phase because they have to secure the ball with more forwards. Really interesting how that pans out for the rest of the game.
They're threatening again here. Saracens. Hargreaves with the gather from the line out. Bath trying to use the touchline.
Ball is there. Ball is available.
Saracens lost a lot of forwards, obviously, in that drive. They're trying to regenerate them now, get another phase before they give it out to the backs.
Just stay there too.
Again, Wigglesworth not happy. Go through one more phase. Very, very tight at the moment, the Saracens' back line. They're just pounding away with the likes of Vunipola.
It's all power at the moment, isn't it? And there's more of it coming from Mako Vunipola. Petrus du Plessis latching onto him as well. And Wigglesworth then releases Farrell. Nicely worked through Good and driven further forwards, some 15 metres out from the try line now. Billy Vunipola out of the back to Farrell, who goes wide, and Strettle is in acres of space. Banahan's misjudged it, and Strettle knocks it forwards. That was a heart-in-mouth moment for Bath.
He was in. It was so well worked. Sarries do the diamond formation to Bath, but then put a crossfield kick, definitely pre-planned. And he just takes his eye off the ball.
It's just bludgeoning, and then they go behind the players. So they've used a couple of runners, and then they put the pass behind, which holds the midfield defence. There's good width from Strettle. There's the ball in behind. A couple of times they've used that. And the crossfield kick, Austin, as you said, he's millimetres away. Banahan just does enough.
He does really well, Strettle, to get over Banahan in terms of height. It's almost like a footballer receiving a corner. Someone jumps in front of them, they don't think it's coming, they miss the header, and everyone blames them.
Well, he scored that try in the Premiership semi-final against Northampton last week to go out on his own for Premiership scores in Saracens colours. A lot of talk about Clermont-Auvergne and possibilities for next season for Dave Strettle.
Have a first scrum, take our time,
he's making the most of his opportunity today.
Go on then,
of course, recently recalled to Stuart Lancaster's wider squad as well, so the chance of a World Cup spot.
I'm going to be a bit closer than that, both of you. Okay, that's fine.
Chance to bow out of English club rugby on a high as well.
Kick had to be spot on there because it dropped short. Actually, they've got no cover in behind. Banahan tall, good in the air. He would have had a relatively free run up the touchline.
So pressure on this Bath scrummage now, and they've won the penalty from it. It's a free kick. Petrus Duplessis up against Paul James today, wily campaigner who's heading back to the Ospreys next season.
That was a deliberate kick from Ford not to go for touch. He aimed for the middle of the pitch.
Good sends it up. Burgess takes. And Burgess spins and presents. Ford. A lot of space in behind Alex Good, but he's very quick across the ground. And the territorial battle in full flow.
Yep.
Burgess carries hard over the 10-metre line. Ford, Joseph, Wakandanguni. Stringer. Ford again. Here's the diamond in action. Eastman's and gathered by Jamie George. He's going to show a clean pair of heels. It's the man of the moment. Jamie George gets Saracens second. What a fairy tale week he's having after an extraordinary time of it in the semi-final with the Hartley headbutt. He's come up trumps with Saracens second, and he's put them firmly on the front foot.
Well, looks could be deceptive, can't they? He's a massive unit, but he's got to turn a pace. Jamie Joseph can't get near him for 10 metres. There's just the little bit of confusion. Batty comes short, and look at that, he's not treading water. They're not getting any closer to him. It's only in the last few metres. There's maybe a slight communication error. Eastman fires too quick a ball across the face, and they're so sharp onto it, and the acceleration's good. Smart score.
Let's not forget who were chasing him down as well. George Ford and Kyle Eastman were after him. No mean feat to see the job through from that distance. He's becoming quite prolific. He's just fractionally wide from Farrell.
Really good work. He's on huge confidence at the moment. You just wonder, before this, Bath had the opportunity to clear their lines. Their tactics were not to go for touch, kick it as long as possible, because they want an open game with lots of counter-attacking. So they decided to kick it down the middle of the pitch. They knew Good had kicked back to them, and they wanted to attack from there. Unfortunately, if you can't keep hold of the ball, you run the risk of exactly that happening.
Not too far shy of a point a minute so far for Saracens in this final. Driven, of course, by the disappointments of those losing finals last year within a week of each other. They have the bit between their teeth here this afternoon. They've got an excellent record against Bath. Forward to Wood. Just not getting any change out of this Saracens defence at the moment. Devoto still on the field for Anthony Watson, remember. And Strattle chasing back and taking with some ease.
Just a little indication of a lack of knowing where they were headed there, Bath. They're a little bit rattled. They won't panic too much because of the style of play they can implement.
We're talking about Jamie George and the fact he's a big lad and people don't think his work rate's as good as it should be. We saw his pace, but he's also responsible for the line speed. Two mauls before this, he's taken the line speed forward. This is the hooker. Look at him, he's taking the line speed forward. He's putting the pressure on Eastman, gets what he deserves. He's got phenomenal work rate for a big lad.
Well, many were arguing that he deserved his place in that wider World Cup squad even before the Hartley misdemeanor. Certainly they rate him very, very highly at Sarries, and he's learnt from some of the best in Scott Brits and John Smith, of course, before him as well. That's been knocked forwards. Nothing quite going Bath's way.
Yeah, it didn't come out. The plan there, Burgess stood at scrum half, and instead of going in, as you might expect for the drive, he was due to run off the side. You see him at the back there. He's coming round the corner with Batty. Batty's meant to get the ball and then give Burgess a one-on-one with Jacques Berger and try and get his hands free, and then they would have had the centres running down that same channel. One of the best in the business at offloading.
Let's get our balance, fellas. The ball won't come in until you're set.
So we're learning that Anthony Watson will not play any further part in this match, so Ollie Devoto is on for Bath for keeps.
Bind.
Huge talent in his own right, still only 21. And an excellent scrum from Saracens. The penalty is theirs.
3.
And they're having things pretty much their own way at the moment.
I thought you went to floor. Not for
Battle of the two English props. Mako Vunipola coming out on top against Davy Wilson.
Nice patience, nice picture, thanks.
It's the left boot of Wigglesworth, which gains them an awful lot of ground, almost up to the 22.
Just see it's a slip of the foot, isn't it, from David Wilson. That right foot slipping away from behind him.
Here we are, fellas, give yourselves room. Hit the front man, not behind him.
Saracens threatening again. Bath have yet to visit the Saracens 22 for their part. Here's Billy Vunipola, another balking run, and driven on hard up towards the 22. There's the hunger that we saw in the semi-finals. Mako Vunipola carries it onwards. Taylor combining with Farrell. Good. Farrell. Barrett loses his footing.
Don't go in the side.
Farrell for Wiles. Tried to remain hidden until the last moment, but Bath were able to handle that. And
Ref's called ball, this will get held up. Ball won't come out now. Banahan's got himself in, even if it collapses, he can fall on top. And that will be Bath's ball. Our second one they tried. Firstly when Billy Vunipola carried, because they had more momentum. Vunipola was able to keep the legs going. His brother came in and ripped the ball off. Here's the Vunipola carry, great pace onto the ball, through Burgess. Burgess holds on, he tries to hold him up. And then look, Mako Vunipola comes in, rips the ball. Because they're still moving forward, they can do that. They're on the front foot. But if you don't have momentum and they hold you up, Banahan, one of the best in the business at it. Look at those arms under the shoulders. Turns his man to Leroy Houston and then just stays in there. Referee calls maul, and they know they can just jump on top of the ball as it collapses.
It's one of the issues you've got, isn't it? If you use decoy runners in front of you and you don't win the collision, you are susceptible because you've lost all your clear, close support. Cruz comes in and tries to wipe Banahan out, but he's so strong, Banahan. especially when you get in that body position in the middle of those mauls. It's almost like you become immovable, even small people like me.
Well, those numbers tell you a tale, don't they? A lot of meters made by Mark McCall's side in the opening 20. And they've imposed themselves early here at Twickenham.
Come a little bit closer, Ross, thanks.
A lot of visits into the Bath 22 as well.
Balance on
That's
that
key.
ball now then, please, Saracens.
It's where Saracens want to play the game, and they're quite happy to thrive off mistakes and turnovers. And they've got the firepower out wide to be able to react to those.
So Peter Stringer, it's not been hooked by Batty. The penalty is Saracens. A whole heap of pressure coming through.
Just straight on his face.
Davy Wilson looking quizzical again.
Such a weapon, isn't it, usually for Bath, particularly with Wilson. And James, at times, been able to have everything their own way. Ball not strike cleanly. The first step from David Wilson goes backwards, and then he just can't lock out.
Picture, okay? We keep giving that good picture with the left arm, it makes it really easy for me, okay?
So a couple of scrums that have been awkward for Bath to deal with. Farrell now with a chance to extend this lead.
Really disciplined since the first one for you.
Really drive home the advantage.
Nice bit of pace. Go down on the knee now, I know what you're doing.
Never in doubt. 15-point lead. That is some cushion. And delight for the many Saracens fans who are populating Twickenham this afternoon. Outnumbered they may be, awful lot of blue, black and white headed this way from the West Country, but they are making themselves heard, and their players are doing the business on the field right now.
Players in position, box kick coming.
Wigglesworth manoeuvring himself into position, and Devoto stationed there. Burgess with the charge. His footing again, and Stringer waits. Wilson just waiting for the impact rather than gathering momentum of his own. Forward. Nothing really from the Bath back division as yet, except a brilliant take from Rockandunguni, which might change things now.
Kyle Eastman did really well at the clear out as well. Didn't have a clear route in. Did very well to survive it with Alex Good.
Forward. Devoto. And again, miscommunication in midfield. Hooper overrunning things. Sarries with the advantage from the knock-on, and Wigglesworth will drive it again back downfield. Danahan.
Bring them on.
He's found some space. Rockandunguni. Lovely offload to Eastman, skipping through the tackles, just a little flash. Wilson keeps it alive, Devoto, Burgess, brilliant offload from Burgess for Joseph. Saracens though back into position defensively. Ford, sauntering across field looking for options. Atwood takes it up, Batty helps him out. Just not quite operating with the usual fluency, and that is testament to the press from the opposition. Eastman looks for the pragmatic option, hasn't found touch.
What a kick.
Field has, but it's taken quickly, and this is Devoto again. Stringer. Looking to work something on that short side. Houston for Eastman. Batty. Still those tackles pile in. Eastman. Joseph. enveloped by white shirts.
You can see the key for Bath. If they get their offload game going, it's dangerous against the Saracens side because they don't allow Saracens to settle into their defensive pattern, but as soon as they become one-off runners, Saracens look really comfortable. Vital that they get people with their hands free through the contact, the likes of Burgess, Eastman and this man.
A flat pass from Ford, releases Rockenden Gooney. Little trip over. He's been taken out. Whether that was illegal or not, we will discover shortly.
Good is very experienced in these situations. He disguises his movement.
Let's just have a quick look at that and just check the cover. We got foul play. We're turning into the man, stopping his run. But we're just seeing if it's any more.
Okay. What he normally does, good, is he knows where he is and he just turns his body, turns his head away so he's not looking, but he knows the position on the field where he wants to block.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Brilliant outside arc, isn't it? And then the chip. It'll be penalty. They've already given the penalty, I think.
So, penalty where it lights.
The referee said to the TMO,
in 15. So
it's already a penalty. I'm just seeing for if it's anything more.
There's a penalty, it's in 15.
Well, he hasn't disguised it that well on that occasion.
They're the main three, yeah.
Oh, say again?
They're the main three angles. There is cover, and yeah, it is a penalty.
For a little bit of help from Graham Hughes.
No, it's not a yellow card. There is cover. Just checked where the ball alight and whether there was cover.
Okay, so the penalty is Bath 15 metres in. But Alex Good remains on the field. No suggestion of a yellow. Mike Ford might feel otherwise.
Go for goal. Yeah, thanks, mate. Put them on the line now.
And they'll have a crack at the sticks. Let's have a word with the Bath assistant coach Neil Hatley. Neil, it's been a tough opening 25 minutes for your lot.
Fellas,
and Saracens, as they do so well, stifling your varied attacks.
Oh, in the line?
Yeah, I think so. They have, like you say, defended pretty well. You know, it'll be a test for us. Now we've got to make sure we stay positive. I know Ben alluded to that offloading game. You saw glimpses of it there. I think if we can just move those defenders around a bit and get to the sides of those defenders, we can get that offload game in.
What about the scrum time at the moment? A couple haven't gone your way. Are you concerned about that?
No, not really. You know, we've got a lot of quality there in Dave Wilson, Paul James and Ross Batty. So, you know, in these games, I think there's going to be lots of penalties either way. So, no, we talked about being patient. We've just got to make sure we settle down very quickly.
Confident of the resilience needed from here, 15 points down, Neil?
Yeah, I think there's, you know, going into this game against a side particularly like Saracens, we knew resilience was going to be one of the most important things. So, you know, like I said to you, it's about staying positive and backing ourselves to get crucial field position. You know, we probably had any field position at the moment, so we just need to get down here for a bit, stay down here and play from there.
That's your time, Neil. First points for Bath. George Ford opens his account, and it's taken 26 minutes to notch those three.
Great to see Rockenden Gooney as well, coming back to the sort of form that got in the England call-up. Brilliant swerve. We saw him look, mate, Nicky Gonover looked stupid last week. He's just had another opportunity.
Really did leave Gonover for dead, didn't he? Just a little step from a standing start. Has that ability to beat you out of nowhere. Good feeds Billy Vunipola, and that is a fairly seismic hit in the midfield from Sam Burgess. Farrell finding the angle.
Yeah, Atwood as well, coming in low with the chop tackle on Vunipola. Burgess over the top. And seismic's a pretty good description. Look at this, not quite at full tilt. But the initial hit from Atwood and Burgess over the top.
How many? No, your nine's in their line. Who's in?
As we all know, it very often does take two, at least, to bring Billy Vunipola down. Sam Burgess, of course, looking to continue his rugby education. Only his 6th start at blindside, and his 21st senior game of rugby union. What a fairy tale it would be if he could complete the NRL Aviva Premiership double in the space of 8 months. Stringer has been there and done it. Stratton crunched. Quick ball though for Saracens to work with. Barrett for Taylor. Dribbles it through. And Ford watches carefully and sets off on a mazy run. His run from around about the Bath 22 at the Rec, which resulted in that brilliant try for Kyle Eastman back when they played in the regular season, of course.
Jamie George does well not to buy the dummy off and just holds his position.
That is magnificent from Good.
They're just doing everything better, aren't they, at the minute? Their individual skills, their intensity, their ball carrying. Strettle didn't mess around, put his head down, ran in, made yards. You get a quick ruck, and then you've got this execution of a basic skill right into the corner. Very good.
If you're coming late to the line-up, you've got to wait for them.
Have we really waited until the Premiership final for me to say that?
Wasn't sure I pronounced his name until last week.
White step, please.
He's a classy player. Great vision, and the execution outstanding. Now then, Bath under pressure at line-out time. 5 metres out. Francois Lowe claims it for them.
Really good drive to get it clear. They just need a blocker in front of Stringer now.
And safely away from the Irishman. Wiles thought about the quick one and decided otherwise. Heading to Sale next season, Peter Stringer, we understand. Ireland's most capped scrum half. Believe it or not, 15 years ago, was participating in a Heineken Cup final between Munster and Northampton. Incredible that he's not only going strong and one of the fittest members of the Bath squad, but
5+1. Sorry.
offering that durability and that experienced head, which is so key on these sorts of days. Cruz for Wigglesworth, for Napola, bouncing off Ford. Barrett, nicely with Farrell on the loop. Taylor for Good. Joseph makes the low hit. Good competing over the ball again by Joseph, but Sarries have done enough. The giant figure of Maro Itoje shielding the ball. Back over Napola. Again, met by Dave Atwood. And scramble for possession. They're having to work quite hard to secure this, Sarries. Barrett again. No way through. That's landed right in the Banahan breadbasket. Devoto lying deep. Hooper, Houston, oof, and Hargreaves is down and out by the looks of things. Medics need to get to him sharpish. Bath pull forwards. Francois Lowe tries to keep it alive. It's been picked off by Duncan Taylor with the intercept and tries to get the off-ball away. What about that? That's incredible from Strettle. I thought for a minute he was going to make it all the way to the line. Saracens have it well within their sights now. Searching for a third, an incredible bit of skill from Dave Strettle.
Jamie George free on the outside.
Huge numbers out wide. Bath rush up. Jamie George is generous, and Chris Wiles will accept it with glee. Saracens playing fabulous rugby. A moment of pure genius from Strettle to keep that move alive. And Chris Wiles with yet another score.
Well, scored by one winger, but created by Strettle on the other side. The move was dead, absolutely dead in the water. The ball comes out to him, and he kicks it in an absolute brilliant piece of skill. Watch this. This goes to the ground from the offload. It's dead. He kicks it into his own hands, breaks the tackle, gets in behind. That sucks in all the defence. It's a good clear out from Farrell, and then they have the ability, just Mako Vunipola in particular, stay controlled. No greed, over goes the team. What a try.
Yeah, Houston rolling the dice there and going, flying out the line for the hit. Rocker Dragooning just a little bit slow to react to him. Not necessarily his fault, but they had to roll the dice and try and get Malapur on one of the passes because they have massive numbers. As you said, that little keepy up from David Strettle, but what an interception from Duncan Taylor, and had the ability to, although not throw the most accurate offload, get it out of the back door, put it into the danger zone. Strettle did the rest.
Well, the kind of try that Bath would be delighted with. They'd be delighted with any points at all right now, but Saracens, at times criticised for a conservative approach, are turning it on here at Twickenham this afternoon. And Farrell has brought his kicking boots as well. 22 points to 3. Blistering half hour of rugby from Mark McCall's side, and Chris Wiles again on target, his 15th of the season. Cooper did well to keep his head here. Jamie George probably was sniffing a second in the afternoon, choosing to make absolutely sure.
Millimetres away from Banahan taking that and having a good run. Just things not quite going Bath's way at the moment.
Advantage is over!
Interesting. Saracens have replaced Ali Hargreaves, not with Jim Hamilton. They brought Jackson Ray into the back row and moved the Toje into the second row.
Devoto sets it up. Atwood drives it forwards. He recovered something like his best form in the semi-final against Leicester. Noticeably dropped off in confidence after being dropped by Stuart Lancaster in the Six Nations. This is Hooper. A lot of work to be done here for the skipper to rally his troops. Burgess caught a little high, he's dropped that.
He just had an inkling that he'd managed to get that right hand free, and Toje just doing enough to dislodge the ball as he tried to make the offload.
We're giving Strettel a load of credit for creating the try, but actually Ali Hargreaves had a lot to do with it, the way he stepped out the line. And they are doubling up on the ball carriers, Sarries, making it very difficult for those offloads now. They're not just putting one or two, one going low, one going high, they're both going at the ball, making it hard to be offloaded.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Crouch!
Just one of the stats that's killing Bath at the moment. Unable to take care of their own possession. Just haven't been able to generate anything of substance, really.
No, but it's you who's leading the most, okay? No pre-engage, or it'll be a sanction.
Saracens with the advantage in terms of the recent meetings. 11 of the last 13 in all competitions has gone the way of the North Londoners.
Get your balance.
Guess what Bath fans will be saying is, if there's one team that suit playing catch-up rugby and suit having to really gamble on everything, it's this Bath side. They need to be able to break this game up and get Saracens out of their structures and comfort zones. They're not doing that at the moment because those offloads, as Austin alluded to, just not sticking.
Be patient and won't call set until everyone's got their bite. Okay, let's get this working.
They've tried to keep things really calm and normal this week at Farley House. They were eager to make sure that they didn't change the way they approach things. Kept training to short, sharp, intense bursts. Nothing out of the ordinary. Saracens have brought their A game and it's proving telling. This time though, Bath have got a big shunt on. Jackson Ray gathers under pressure though from Francois Lowe. Wigglesworth digs it out. Farrell has a lot of space to run into. Bath in trouble here. Barrett, Taylor cuts back in field and Rokandaguni makes the tackle. Wigglesworth searching for the holes and finding them. Itoji, Cruz. And a penalty and a card coming.
Yeah, pull back in the tackle on Itoji.
It might be something else. He's got hold of his shorts before he's caught the ball. Clearly.
He just changed his mind there, didn't he, Wayne Barnes? I think initially he was thinking, I'm going to my pocket.
And rightly so, it's a professional foul. It's one of the worst in the game, holding people back off the ball. I think it is a yellow card. As we see it here, he breaks through. Nice little break from Wigglesworth. It's close, actually. Maybe on second viewing, it's not as evident.
It's a timing issue rather than I'm going to stop him getting to the ball, isn't it?
The pass has been made, actually. It's not even a penalty.
Well, it is, because he hasn't got the ball when
the pass has been made, though.
Contact. So still got to have the ball in your hands.
If the ball's coming towards you.
Yeah, you can't tackle someone without the ball.
I knew I should have read that rule book. Laws.
It's called a law book.
after that 2 minutes, Matt, yeah, like 2-4. Yeah.
4 from 5 from the tee for Farrell, and it's comfortable for Saracens right now. Huge disappointment last season, looking to emulate the boys of 2011 who got the job done against Leicester. And Owen Farrell is guiding them there, certainly getting the better of the two 10s this afternoon. Forward operating on the back foot, Farrell firmly on the front foot.
Outside. Inside.
Guni, Devoto, hit hard by Itoje, and he's held him up really well as well, but gets it away. Wilson trying to find some width on it. Joseph nearly scampering through the hole. Stringer for Ford. Houston. Sarries have got this covered. The offloads have got to stick, and the support players have got to be there, and they've got to take care of the ball. Saracens' scramble defence working really nicely. They're harassing and harrying at every turn, and Bath are falling into their trap.
They are, but they're almost there. They're almost getting their game going, Bath. Brilliant pass from Davy Wilson to create space for Joseph in the outside channels. Absolutely superb. Comes out. He's played forward, scrum half and fly half there. Really good. They get into the wider channels. They come around the corner. They've created a little bit of an overlap. They just can't keep hold of the ball in that final channel.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Yes, please.
Decisive from Saracens.
It was Duplessis already going forward when the ball came in. Good work by Wigglesworth to get the timing right.
10 seconds. You must kick the ball before it's 0-0.
I know it's 25-3, but as Ben said, when Bath go in at this now in front of the coaches in half-time, they will say, look guys, the game is just starting to open up. We are still in this.
They're still in it, but they're an awfully long way behind. This is the biggest lead at half-time in a Premiership final. They will have to play a lot of catch-up rugby in the second 40. Saracens with half the job done. And at the break, it's Bath 3, Saracens 25. Join us for all the analysis after the break.
Sponsored by Land Rover, at the heart of rugby.
Welcome to your life, acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to. The world.
The first ever European Games starts the 12th of June, live on BT Sport 1.
Cut. Sorry, is this really what you want me to do? I don't feel like I'm doing anything here.
That's the beauty of my idea. The BT Infinity Hub 5 is doing everything for you, so you can just chill.
Yeah, it's our most reliable wireless connection ever.
Only BT Hubs proactively monitor and fix your wireless connection.
Shh. Can you hear that? That's the sound of reliability.
My girl don't like when I'm busy. I hear her.
Oh, sorry.
When I'm busy.
Yeah, Mum, I'm on set.
The BT Infinity Hub 5 with SmartScan technology, our most reliable wireless connection ever.
Alpro takes the best of plants and puts all their tastiness into a pot. Top it, taste it, create it. Start every day in a totally different way. Be inspired by our plant-based range and create your own combination with Alpro.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! You who see your phone as your lifeline. You who elevate photobombing to the limit. You who put everything into your friendship. Why on earth do you need to sign a 2-year contract?
I've never ever read a contract in my life. In 2 years' time, my phone will probably be a teleporter.
Some of us have been blind in the past, paying attention to other things, conforming too easily.
Change happens quickly.
Life throws you into situations you'd never expect to be in.
Yeah, you can feel it. A movement's happening. Everything's starting to feel right. We're awake. Our eyes are wide open.
I don't understand why people like to tie themselves down. Whoa, steady.
So stop hiding.
I'm not tied to anything.
GiftGaff puts me in control. All you have to do is open your mind and come and join us. GiftGaff, the mobile network run by you.
It's my first game. Got any tips?
Tips? Yeah. Check out this great offer.
Get your mobile out.
Whoa, I'm having that. Got any more?
Yeah. Check your duck speed.
Duck speed.
Download the Coral app and check out our great offers.
Please bet responsibly.
Skoda Octavia, winner of What Car Family Car of the Year 2015. It's not your everyday family car. Visit your local Skoda retailer to test drive the Octavia range.
Skoda, simply clever.
Sponsored by Land Rover, at the heart of rugby.
Captain and head coach in deep discussion before they hit the dressing rooms. That is the scale of the mountain Bath now have to climb. 3:25 down against Saracens here, and there is the side of a very pleased side after a tremendous first half. 3 tries in total. The captain, Alistair Hargreaves, he will not reappear on the pitch unless he's going to be lifting the trophy. It's looking like he might be doing that now. He took a bit of a knock. There is the situation in the Bath dressing room. They do look despondent, and they should be. They have been played off the park in the first half. What are they going to do? 22 points behind. Sarries have done what no other team has done in a final before. That is a huge lead, and it's interesting, lads. We talk about Bath's talent, but then we talk about Saracens, and I suppose they've won, but they've lost a few big games, and learning to lose, learning then to win the big games like today, and we're seeing that now, aren't we, Mike?
Yeah, experience plays a lot of things. They've had dark times, but I think Bath have walked into an alleyway in Watford because they're just getting mugged completely Saracens' way. Everything that Sarries would want them to do, they're doing. They're playing rugby on the halfway line, offloading game, when they haven't really altered the Sarries' defence. Sarries are keeping 14 men on their feet most of the time, and unless you're punching holes and making them go backwards, you just got a wave upon wave coming at them, and they're trying to force things. They need to put them back and make them play out their 22, but now they're going to have to chase a game. Are they going to have the discipline then to go in and go, right, we've still got to stick to how we think we should play, or are they just going to get even looser, which is probably going to play into Saracens' hands?
Yeah, it's a big chase because they really haven't put any control in this game whatsoever. In fact, the first 2 tries for Saracens really exemplified what Bath are not doing right and what Saracens are doing right, lads. Just talk us through them.
Yeah, well, obviously the first one was probably a bit of a loose kick. You want that one to go to touch, and we're very aware of the capabilities of Sarries. You know, Bath were probably unlucky in that Billy Vunipola spilt it and then regathered, and then just a little bit of lacking in communication at the end with Joseph and Watson going for the same man and Farrell sauntering in.
Yeah, and I think, you know, listen, Bath are trying to play out of their own half, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. They give the offload there to Burgess, and then you think they might elect to kick the ball. And, you know, Saracens have got that wonderful press defence, a beautiful piece of skill there from David Streddle.
Unbelievable.
Look at that, unbelievable piece of skill. Look at that. Zebo-esque in terms of what he did there. But they are trying to play from 2 deep. Mike Ford, previously coming into this game, kicks the ball more than any other 10 in the Premiership. For some reason today, Bath have decided that they're not going to kick the ball against a Saracens team that are so motivated by the fact that they've lost big finals here. You have to say they are playing like men possessed, and they've been fantastic, and they've forced Bath into trying to panic, really. And for me, there's one team that look experienced, the others look totally shell-shocked out there at the moment.
Can Bath get back into this game, Mike?
Of course they can. They have the ability to score tries from everything, but they're going to have to dictate more what Saracens' defence do. At the moment, then, when they do punch holes and they get behind, they ended up with a chip on the edge. They got the 3 points, but when they're not, Ford's still got to put them down in territory and make Sarries have to work for something. At the moment, they're just not working.
And just on that, Tins, I think when Bath do kick, they've got to gather more than 50% of the ball back. The 50-50s now seem to be breaking to Sarries. They've got to make sure that they get them back and give themselves a chance of getting phased in behind Sarries.
The fact is they're 25 points to 3 down, but don't forget what Bath did to Leicester in the semi-finals. They made 8 visits to the Leicester's red zone. They scored 7 tries out of it. They are capable of doing it, but Saracens have a commanding lead, and they've just been really, really good in this first half of rugby. But it is a final. Anything can happen, and it might just do when we return.
Sponsored by Land Rover, at the heart of rugby.
Valentino Rossi, it's Marc Marquez, Lorenzo wins.
The championship's wide open, but dare they challenge the Doctor in front of this lot? The MotoGP of Italy, race day tomorrow, exclusively live on BT Sport 2.
Great Taste of America is back. This week, try the New York Classic with bacon and a mayo, mustard and ketchup combo. 5 weeks, 5 great tastes.
In a world of more, try a little less. Introducing new Lynx Black, a subtle and refined fragrance crafted by the world's best perfumers. Bring the quiet. Also available in compressed, which lasts just as long.
You win. So we are ready for you. Guys, don't you think this is all a bit much?
What do you mean?
BT TV, you've got the big sport, right?
Yes.
Big entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Big movies.
Yes.
All for tiny prices.
I wrote that line.
I don't think you need any of this. No offense. No worries. There's your commercial. You should just shoot that.
Okay. With you underneath it?
Yes. No.
BT TV. Big entertainment for tiny prices.
At Curry's PC World, we'll help you find what you really want. Like this new Acer Aspire Switch 10 2-in-1 with an Intel Atom processor, touchscreen and detachable keyboard. It's a tablet and laptop with up to 11 hours battery life. Great value at only $229. At Curry's PC World, we start with you.
Brilliant moments in Scotland are waiting right now. High in the clouds and up in the trees. Out in the wild and across the fields. Where the clubs come out, the views open up, and wherever there's a party in full swing. So don't miss a single one of them. Plan your brilliant break today at visitscotland.com.
At Oak Furnitureland, you can create your perfect room for only £49 per month. You could have all of this bedroom furniture, or all of this solid oak dining room furniture, or all of this living room furniture, including a gorgeous Sofa Store sofa. £49 per month, no interest to pay, and free delivery at Oak Furnitureland.
Dave Caulfield tweeted, "Hope the ref doesn't ruin the FA Cup final, Paddy." Well, we hear you, Dave. No one likes a ref who steals the limelight. But just in case he does, we've got this great cup final offer. Bet £20 before the game and get a free £10 in-play bet. Well, no cart shown, but the foam's come into play. Oh, no, not the fancy cup final boots. Steady on, lad. The ref's not in the mood. Oh, he's got carried away. And so have we. That's why we're giving you this amazing offer. Bet £20 before the game and we'll give you a free £10 in-play bet. Bet now with Paddy Power. We hear.
Birdseye presents Inspirations, featuring chicken with a tasty cheese and ham sauce.
Dinner's ready.
Oh,
what's this? These are new. What do you reckon?
Right, let's have a try. That's gorgeous.
Took you by surprise, that, didn't it?
I wasn't expecting that sauce. Tell you what, that's lush, Mum, isn't it?
That is lush.
Try Britain's most successful new product range, Birdseye Inspirations.
Your empire's where your dreams come to life. Plan quickly, build quickly, or be destroyed quickly. Will you build an empire that lasts forever? Will you be my hero? Game of War. Play for free now from the App Store.
It's James Ward-Prowse. What a goal from Harry Kane. Towards super finish. Sena Farahina. Brilliant England goal.
Get ready to roar this summer. The UEFA Under-21 Championship, live on BT Sport.
Sponsored by Land Rover, at the heart of rugby.
Well, it's been all Saracens in a packed Twickenham here for the Aviva Premiership final in the first half. They currently lead 25 points to 3. And a big week for this man, Stuart Lancaster. The week he said goodbye to Dylan Hartley from his World Cup training squad and said hello to Jamie George. And Jamie George has announced himself to the rugby world today. Scored a try, made another, playing out of his skin, as are his 14 teammates. Don't forget, there are 2 lumps of silver up for grabs today in London. Yes, the Aviva Premiership trophy will be decided in the next 50 minutes. After that, though, we're live to Wembley. It's FA Cup final day, and Jake is there for us.
Thanks a lot, Craig. Well, while it's jumping there at Twickenham, this is the calm before the storm here at Wembley. This is the exact walk that both sets of players will make at about 5:20 here this afternoon, after a bide with me has traditionally rung around Wembley. And this is the setting for the 2015 FA Cup final. Make sure you join us from 5 o'clock for all the build-up. This game kicks off at 5:30, and we can't wait. See you then.
Yeah, so much to look forward to today, so much to look forward to tomorrow. Just mark your cards. It is the Italian Grand Prix, Mugello. It's Valentino Rossi land in the MotoGP world. You don't want to miss that, and you certainly don't want to miss this second half. Saracens lead 25 points to 3. Ali Eakin, all yours.
Thanks, Craig. Well, a big buffer for Saracens. Bath have to go some now. We're going to need to see a very special 40 minutes from them if they're to find a way back into this. It would be the biggest comeback in Premiership history, not just Premiership final history, Premiership history. And at the moment, Sarries are bossing it. Clinical in execution.
That's a more.
That usual smothering defence, the unwavering belief. And they can taste victory from here. So many of these players have been involved in this situation before, not just here but in Europe too.
Bath, it's an easy walk. Bath are allowed to keep going. Sorry, Saracens allowed to keep going. Bath have voluntarily left that ball. Now they've got to use it.
Some 40 metres upfield from Saracens. Here goes Barrett, who's finding Atwood. Wigglesworth, calm and ordered. And a rare drop from Maro Itoje. Stuart Hooper immediately straight over to congratulate those who've participated in that Bath defensive effort.
Yeah, Itoje just takes his eye off the ball to plan how he's going to take contact with Eastman. Vital scrum now. Scrum didn't operate well the majority of the first half for Bath. They now need to back up that momentum shift of Itoje dropping it by securing good ball for George Ford.
You'll be able to tell by the play now exactly what was said at half-time. If Mike Ford's been in there and said, lads, we can score tries from anywhere, but we have to give it a go. This is a good attacking ball just inside their own half. Are they going to go wide? We'll find out now.
Bind! Set!
Got the Deguli loitering behind the scrum.
Bit of both.
They have that triangle shape outside George Ford.
It's started, just hit flat to high, okay?
And they get the ball out
downwards
to the men that have created so much havoc in midfield during the regular Premiership season.
There we go. Yeah, a bit closer. And it's only just left of the mark. It's not. No, you're going too far left. That's fine. Stay there, Jamie. Stay there, Ross. Thank you.
No Anthony Watson, of course. He left the field early. Austin, what have you seen?
Well, from this side of the field, one of the key defenders is Wigglesworth. If he can get out, you can almost track the inside of the first three plays. Makes it a lot more difficult then for Bath to get around that outside channel, especially if the scrum collapses.
I love it when you start drawing lines all over the screen because it means that we're going to get a penalty. First penalty against Saracens, and now they're on the back foot inside their 22.
Well, the first jobs have been done well, particularly by the forward pack. Now as they amble to this line out, making sure everyone's got the call, prime attacking position. And you really think that with their driving play being such a weapon for them this year, the forwards would want to keep it to themselves initially, tie in as many of those white-shirted defenders as possible, and then they'll look to use the midfield.
It's with the skipper, Stuart Hooper, who has been credited this week with always finding a way to get the best out of his players. He's going to need to do that now, and they are making some headway, albeit relatively slow. Francois Lowe to Joseph. A little step isn't fooling Farrell, but they have got the penalty. It's a little high.
What do you do, Oz? Do you take the three and get the scoreboard ticking over? Every time you visit here, try and get some points on the board, slowly eat away at that lead, and then suddenly you're putting all the pressure back on a team that thinks they are totally on top.
Yeah, I know, but it's still around the
Again,
header.
it's a high tackle by Farrell. There's a lot of people on Twitter, Ali, saying Watson's gone for the game. Surprised that the ref and the TMO didn't look back on that early tackle in the game. Almost, well, at least a dozen tweets saying that. Because he's such an attack, he's so important to Bath's attacking game because he gives them go forward at the back when literally there's a wall in front of him. He often beats the first or second defender. They're certainly missing him.
Yeah, big loss. Some reward for their efforts. George Ford secures the second penalty of the afternoon, and the chipping away at this lead begins.
Everything's going to be vital for Bath. Every next phase is always going to be vital for Bath, but now, having got those 3 points, they must get out of their own half effectively.
Well taken by Banahan. Strettle
Inside.
right up onto him early. Batty. Let's not forget the firepower off the benches as well to come. They're trying to run this out of the 22, and Ford finds Joseph, and he's headed infield. Eastman again, now wrapped up by Itoje, and Duncan Taylor's in there as well. Have they held him up long enough? They have. Well, it's exciting, it's adventurous, but is it the best policy, Ben?
Well, they're creating little gaps and little opportunities, but the scramble of Saracens is so good that if you get caught in this area, you're susceptible. You see Joseph, Eastman both finding little breaks through one or two tackles, but they get enveloped by that Wolfpack defence. Held up, the referee calls maul, they don't have to roll away.
Paul Gustard to the left of Mark McCall. He's the man, of course, who organises the defence. Talking to him in the week, he was at pains to stress that everything hinges on the spacing defensively. If they can remain connected, they can deal with all the different looks that Bath Diamond will provide. One of the key factors from Bath's perspective, isn't it, that they're always offering a different angle, a new line.
Okay.
And defenders have to be very wary.
Go on then, let's go.
But as long as they can stay connected and well spaced, they can shut it down.
Well, just looking at the attacking formation of Sarries here, we demoed before the game about their ability to kick behind. And it's really important, the work at the back of Devoto. He has to view where the ball's going, because he's going to see a free kick from another scrum.
Fully engaged. Blue.
Will you shut up? We might get a good game.
They're going for the scrum again. And some changes are being made here by Mike Ford, Rob Webber and Nick Alterac coming onto the field.
Leaning too far, trying to take too much advantage, so
Batty and James making way.
On them to get the balance. That's what I'm telling you.
If we finish off, see if we can get anywhere with the key man, I said, is Devoto. So if Devoto starts to track all the way over here, we've seen their ability of Saracens of putting a kick back on the inside. Rather than kicking down the line, they put it back inside for somebody, maybe even a back rower, to chase onto. It's a good tactic because the pendulum can't work in this situation. As a winger, you have to defend your zone when you're this close to the line.
Bind. Set.
There comes a penalty from the scrum.
Two fresh new players in the front row, Alterac and Webber. They'll full of energy, do well.
Well, an immediate impact, it seems. Great relief for many of the Bath supporters here. Rob Webber is roaring his support for the rest of the Bath pack. Here's a man with a point to prove as well. Given the situation with Dylan Hartley, Jamie George and Luke Cowan-Dickey, the other hookers in the party, along with Tom Youngs.
Good straight drive. Dave Wilson just slipping the blind after he'd gone past Vunipola.
They know that moments like that can lead to the momentum shift.
Six-man line out, Burgess out in midfield to operate as an extra centre.
And here he comes. He's been dealt with without too many problems by Jacques Berger. Little show from Ford. He might be regretting that as Itoje levels him. And it's there now for Stringer. Really cluttered midfield as Atwood runs into Farrell and then has another go at it. Eastman goes wide. Banahan. Stratton was just giving himself a little bit of space. Wilson, Ford, through the hole. And wrapped up by George Cruz. Up to the 10-metre line. Opportunities now for Bath. Joseph dribbles it through, and when they are on the front foot, and they are moving at speed, and there is a slickness and a fluency to the handling, maybe it's better to stay in the hands, but on that occasion to the boot it went, and now they can pressurise this line out inside the Sarries 22.
Brilliant little half break from Ford. Makes such late decisions, doesn't he? Ball pulled back to him, little show and go. Vunipola commits on the man outside him. He's in behind. I think Joseph just wanted that ball to stay on the field. Try and force the turning Saracens defence to either clear it into touch or they could put them under pressure.
Petrus Duplessis makes his way off, replaced by Juan Figalo, the Argentine international. Sarries took something of a punt on him. Montpellier wrote him off after neck trouble. He's had surgery, he's fit and firing again into that front row. Wigglesworth with oodles of time, seemingly. Banahan. Good work from Billy Vunipola on the jackal, but he hasn't done quite enough. Eastman lying a little deeper. Joseph operating in very tight, confined spaces. Devoto. Still, the Saracens press works its magic, and they're competing again over the ball. Wayne Barnes doesn't like it. Is that harsh?
I think it potentially is. I think Chris Wiles releases. I'd be interested to see it again, but for me, Devoto lands on his back and tries to roll back against the tackle. As you try and do, you try and get your body over the ball to protect it. We have a closer look now. It's a good tackle on the inside. I think that's gone the wrong way. Is Wiles supporting his own body weight, you could argue? I think maybe yes. It's a tough one.
I think that's what it was given for, wasn't it? Bath just changed their tactics, like those delayed passes. They're trying to create an opportunity with their good runners one-on-one, rather than having 2 or 3 white shirts around their good runners and able to strip the ball in the offload. Delaying the ball, getting people to commit to their defensive roles.
Stringer breaks. Ford is looking around, there's nobody really there. Has to take it onwards himself. Now they pour forwards. Quick handling this time for Eastmans, who spots the try line just a handful of strides away.
Brilliant try-saving tackle from Strettle. Need to get back to their feet, those Saracens.
The alarm bell's ringing certainly at the moment. Stuart Hooper is eyeing up the options. Stringler marshalling his little pod of forwards. Rob Webber, fresh legs, driven on by Burgess.
That pod of 3, ball goes to the middle player each time. We've automatically got 2 people in on the ball.
Ford out the back to Joseph. He's going to go around the outside and through. Bath back in the hunt. Jonathan Joseph, one of their star men, has been doing it all season. He's done it here in the final at Twickenham too.
Brilliant finish, the hitch kick and acceleration. Mike Ford's not getting carried away yet. You're absolutely right. Ball in 2 hands, still a threat to pass. But the little hitch, he's got his opposite number lined up on his outside. Taylor's actually on his outside. He hitch kicks past him and then accelerates on the outside curve. And you can't blame Wiles there. He can't step in. He's still got players outside him.
Bruce Craig, just one of many happy Bath supporters, happy that there is a sniff now, thanks to the trickery of Jonathan Joseph. He's had a stunning season. Slowly, quietly, reeling Saracens back in.
The Saracens are getting tired, Ali, and that means that their line speed is affected because they can't number off. If we take another look at the try, that's 8 defenders on the short side. They carry in again. Normally those guys would wrap around. Watch what happens. They carry in. All 8 of them stay on the blind side defending nobody. That's not how they've been defending all week. That is going to create problems for them if they don't sort it out. Bath could find a way back.
Caused by that initial break, because it was that scramble defence, try-saving tackle. They all got pulled across to that side. You've got to be able to work back when the tackle's made.
This is Houston carrying the attack towards those white shirts again. Let's not forget the incredibly physical, intense nature of the Saracens semi-final at the Gardens. It took a bit of recovering from. I saw them on Thursday. They'd had a pretty quiet week in training. They hadn't been able to do an awful lot in the early part of the week. Such were the bruises left. Wigglesworth dabs it through. Probably looking for a little bit more territory than that, but it'll do for now. They're taken quickly through Rockandunguni, and Burgess is going to have a dart from here. Eastman gathers. Banahan. Houston. Devoto. Ford. Webber. Atwood. You've got to admire their spirit. Bath digging in here and out of necessity playing with the handbrake off. And winning the penalty.
It's the same thing. Decision goes against Bunapole and not supporting his weight. Initially when he went in on the ball. Gets so low, doesn't he? Referees always talk about paint a picture, show me, make it as obvious as possible to me. Obviously Wayne Barnes not happy that Bunapole's painting skills are up to it.
So Dom Day is coming on in the engine room and the skipper Stuart Hooper is making way. George Ford takes over the captaincy at fly half.
That's right. Just because you got back on the ball, that's what I've got to give it.
Those two have been working very much as a team, the Mike Ford-Stuart Hooper partnership. A real emphasis on team building and the culture there. Burgess spills.
And Burgess stood at scrum half there. Not necessarily to go in and latch on for the drive, but to be used as a battering ram off the line out. But you've got to be good and accurate with your delivery. Here, good pressure from Cruz. Ball meant to be dropped down to Webber. Neil de Kock onto the field at scrum half for Saracens. Not quite so much rotation this season. Wigglesworth has played the bulk of the big games as the starting 9. De Kock at the age of 36. Going for one more season, we understand, as well. At the club longer than anybody else. Before the Brandon Venter clear out back in 2009, which really was the start of things to come for the North Londoners.
Pressure off, fellas. Pressure off.
Saracens have got to find a foothold now in the game because Bath have really got the bit between their teeth. And there's one side that you don't want to be fighting back against you that needs two tries. It's Bath. They can score from anywhere. They've got such talent around there. That last try was evidence about how quickly they can turn defence into attack. That's the big threat. They've got to hold on to possession now.
And believe.
And believe. They came out and they had a great driving maul at 20 yards. They're one knock on and suddenly the mindset has completely changed on the back foot. They've got to rediscover it.
See Henry Thomas quite high there. Macro Bunapole at the last scrum tried to drop him as low as he could, get him off balance.
Hold, fellas.
So the early shove from Bath doing for them. Brand new front row, Alterac, Webber and Thomas now. Farrell goes high. Burgess slips off the tackle of Wiles, but no way through.
And Farrell choosing not to go for touch because he wants Bath to attack from their own 22. That's where he thinks they're going to make mistakes.
Ford, the wobbly. Yes, found Matt Barahan lurking out wide. It's a better connection from the young 10. He's picked out his best buddy, Owen Farrell. Demoto chasing in, very calm. Ford, Rockenden Gooney slips through but can't quite evade Chris Wiles. Burgess though, adding momentum and power. Ford, this is looking a little bit more like the Bath we know. Rockenden Gooney off his wing and into the midfield.
Saracens just edging out of the defensive line, looking for that big hit. Bath trying to pick them off, cutting back on the inside.
Ford trying to find the touchline, instead finding Alex Good, and that's been sliced. So a change in the script over these 20 minutes or so of the second half, and Matt Garvey warming up on the touchline as well.
Bath 5, yes?
Bath with their 6-2 split on the bench, with Carl Ferns also covering the back row, because Burgess can of course cover in the centres if necessary. So Garvey for Atwood. One of the challenges for Mike Ford, both this season and next, is juggling all these talents and finding a place for them all in starting 15s at various moments.
He's taken off his whole second row, but he's taken off Atwood, perhaps slightly more defensive, big hitter in the tackle. He's brought on Garvey, a bit more of a powerful ball carrier. Got Dom Day, maybe not quite as good in the line, running a line out as Hooper, but again he'll add plenty carrying and hitting, but they've got to make sure they secure their ball. That one gives them the penalty for being pulled down. It was Dom Day who was attempting to gather it.
In a moment.
See that arm from Cruz. Just on the bicep.
Yeah, you carry on, carry on.
Good spot from the referee, Wayne Barnes. Again, an opportunity to just nibble away at that lead.
Austin?
Al?
You were looking like you had something to say.
No, I did, but I'm just thinking now that it is key to keep this scoreboard going. There'll be people at home shouting at it, going, kick for the corner, drive them again. But as Ben said, Bath now and Mike Ford have taken off their set piece, their size, and replaced it with real mobility around the field. They know exactly what's required now. Keep playing rugby. This Sarries side look very, very tired.
If you get that balance,
and keep the ball in hand, keep going through the phases, you will get penalties, you will get opportunities.
Chris Ashton about to make an appearance.
it's not those penalties, it's little ones.
Before
It's like
George Ford tries to cut the deficit still further. Into the final quarter. It's a 9-point ball game. Slowly but surely, Bath nibbling away at the Saracens' lead. Belief growing with every minute. They know they can strike from anywhere. Still a long, long way to go. Chris Ashton onto the field now to make his mark. Interestingly, Brad Barrett is the one who's been removed.
Yeah, Wiles has gone into the centre. Stretch will swap wings.
Replacement for Bath Rugby coming off number 8, Leroy Houston, being replaced by number 21,
big man in Carl Ferns added to the mix. The Bath monster, as described by Mike Ford. So much carrying power. Leroy Houston making way.
Well, the other thing about bringing on Garvey
bring them on, stop!
and Ferns is that you have to mark them, you have to tighten your defensive line, which creates space out wide for some of their lethal runners, the likes of Joseph.
A bit of skill from Alex Good controlling the ball. This is one Figalo, held up well by Ollie Devoto. Farrell, Taylor. And a penalty here.
Against Devoto. One of those, I think, where he wasn't 100% sure where he was. The temptation to have a dabble at the ball without realising that he had come from an offside position. See, he falls the wrong side, and then he just goes around the outside of Scott Brits. Just too tempting, wasn't it?
Couldn't quite resist, could he?
Fall back. Fall back.
So the two 10s trading blows. When Farrell superb in the semi-final against Saints, right back in the groove after only a couple of starts following his troubles with knees and calves. Well, given their first half dominance, I'd hesitate to say those are relieving points for Saracens, but it feels that way at the moment with the momentum that Bath have built up. Those are precious. 28 points to 16 with 17 minutes to play. Just give Saracens a little bit of breathing space now to work with, to calm things down. They've stemmed the flow of points from the opposition. This is Burgess.
Really good presentation from Burgess. He's obviously been working very hard on that long place, getting the ball quickly to the scrum half.
Duncan Taylor everywhere at the moment. Everybody at Saracens raving about his fitness and work rate and the ability that he shows in training. Keeping out Marcelo Bosch today. Joseph, Webber, Day. Good ground made. Until then. Let's have a word with Alex Sanderson, who is the Saracens assistant coach. Alex, still very much in the balance, isn't it? And you were so dominant that first half, but then a change in momentum since the half-time break.
Yeah, you saw that after the half-time break, that the set-piece dominance we had in the scrum went more towards Bath, and also our ill-discipline let Bath get in the game in terms of territory and points, which they've taken every available opportunity. This is the Bath team that we expected to come up against in that first half, which was obviously much less than what we faced in scoring those 3 tries.
How do you think your guys are holding up at the moment? We were discussing the fact we thought there was, certainly in that opening 20 minutes of the second half, just a little drop-off in intensity and maybe the effects of that bruising semi-final at the Gardens.
No, I think we're in a good place. I mean, there was a little lack of composure, and we want to keep numbers on our feet because we're aware of Bath's attacking presence. But it comes down to these big games are won in these crucial pressure moments like this, and we've had a few of them already this year, so we hope that they'll keep their heads, and under the guidance of Neil de Kock, who's now our captain, we'll play the rugby in the right areas of the field, and Bath will hopefully run up their own backsides as they did in the first half and give us some opportunities to attack from.
Thanks for your time, Alex.
Thank you. Cheers.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
It's going to need to be reset.
Fellas. Let's come. Just listen. Reset. Just listen. Let's come together. Let's then just let it settle. Let's not push, step left, push forward. Everyone, settle.
He's laying the law down to a new set of players, of course, since the break. Brad Barrett wants to come back on.
Shoulder will come out. There it is.
And I'm sure Saracens wants him back on. A few-minute barricade
in this area of the pitch. They've got the put in. Vital that they keep hold of it.
And convincing stuff from the Saracens 8.
Strong from Vunipola, wasn't it? He was under real pressure initially. He just turned the tide.
Let's go.
Naka Vunipola's done a very effective job today, hasn't he? He made quite short work of Dave Wilson in the early part of this match. And Henry Thomas may or not be suffering the same fate. Austin.
Well, we heard from Alex Sanderson about de Kock being captain, but he's also got a key role to play defensively, and we'll see this on numerous occasions now. This is what he's been told to do. We highlight him in the backfield. Bath sets up their diamond formation. Watch what de Kock does. He accelerates through and goes straight for the ball carrier. Puts him under a lot of pressure. Now, forwards are good at this. They practice it a lot, but if you've got someone blitzing out the line at you when everyone else is covering everything else, it's a brilliant tactic and a great way to stop Bath's attacking game.
The only negative side of that, I saw him do it on the other side. It didn't go to the side he gambled on, and it leaves them open to a little chip over the top. No sweeper in behind.
Struggle off. Barrett on. Bath looking to counter-attack with turnover ball. Devoto. Lovely line run by Devoto. Rockendenguni. Well marshalled. How good has Chris Wiles been this season? scoring a hatful of tries, but he is so dependable too.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic this year. 14 tries. But not only that, just his general all-round ability. He can play in the midfield, he can carry for you. He makes very few mistakes. I was talking to him about the chances of the US in the World Cup this year. They fancy themselves of getting out of that group, and it's because they've got players now like this that can play at the top level week in, week out. Very, very good season.
Scott is on, and De Kock is sending it high. Rokundanguni waits for it. Wiles envelops him. He can't move. He's stuck.
It's there. You can't argue with the referee if you can see the ball.
Forward, Eastman. Onwards to Thomas and Alterac. The props getting involved in the midfield. Really good counter-rucking there. No. Wayne Barnes doesn't like it.
Or trying to play at tempo, has still hit field position, but he wants to keep this little momentum. Spike from Bath going. Get the forwards rumbling.
They're up against the clock now as well, Bath, aren't they? 13 minutes to play.
I'll give you time.
12 points to make up.
One stop. Replace him.
Nervous moments for everybody.
Fellas, Saracen.
There's Chris Cook waiting for his turn as well at 9.
Bath number 9.
Started 7 of the first 9 games this season.
It's going to be all in.
Just ran out of gas a little bit in mid-season, but Peter Stringer now makes way.
Stolen. Huge steal. Poor throw. The drill was wrong.
De Kock. Oh, charge down is a good one. Henry Thomas and Dombe right where they needed to be. Now there are opportunities. Quick ball, Webber bounces off Berger, not many manage that. Ford decides to head to the right-hand side of the field. Ferns caught low by Sculpbrits. Eastman, oh dear. Not sure that was the right option. It's gone forwards in the pass. It wasn't gathered clean anyway. And just a lack of composure there. They're in a hurry.
Potentially caused by Saracens' line speed. Here's the charge down. Munapola can't do much more to block. You just got to not take as long, give yourself a bit more space. There's the away swinger that went to Garvey. You just saw good line speed from Saracens, cutting off options. Ford went looking for another one, couldn't find it.
Pretty tight, but I wouldn't, sir.
And those handling errors largely down to the suffocating defence of Saracens, preying on those errors. Don't forget, it's a big day of finals here on BT Sport. The FA Cup final to follow from 5 o'clock. Aston Villa up against Arsenal. Not before we have finished here at Twickenham. Fans are ready.
Not too much.
Beautiful day for it.
Shoulder, loose ends. Loose end, shoulder.
The second half, Bath have had 81% of possession.
Stand up, fella, stand up.
Might be expected when a team goes in with such a big lead at half-time, no matter how much you try and keep the intensity the same. You don't want to make mistakes. Trust your defence.
Both loose head shoulders.
And the water bottle's getting the treatment. Mark McCall doesn't seem that keen on watching at the moment. Both their destinies rest in this next short period. Who will be crowned champion? Saracens on the march, seemingly, headed towards the title.
Split your hooker and your loose end.
Just sucking the life out of Bath at key moments, aren't they?
There's a man you want to bring on to close the game out. All the experience in the world.
Interesting to see where he comes on though, won't it? Will he come on as 10 and Farrell move to centre, taking Barrett off? That's what's happening now.
being replaced by 22, Charlie
Bath
Hodgson.
suggesting at that scrum that Vunipola went round the outside, which caused their hooker and loose head to split. That's what the penalty was for.
So warm applause for Brad Barrett as they go short in the line-outs. Midfield pairing now of Hodgson, Farrell and Taylor. A stray ball has found its way onto the field as Brits carries it up. Another little dart through from Chris Wiles, wriggling away. Hodgson. Not the best first touch. He's had a hell of a season though, hasn't he? 15th top flight campaign. And he's been the starting 10 for well, pretty much all of it, given Farrell's injury problems. Record point scorer in Premiership history. Third Premiership final for him, because he won it with Sale back in 2006 as well. Garvin finding Cook, forward, inside for Rokandanguni.
See Saracens not even competing at that breakdown, making sure they get the numbers on their feet.
Eastman for Burgess, met by a combination of Hodgson and Vunipola. Devoto. Forward, Eastman, Ferns. Again, the Sarries defence seems re-energised now. Vunipola drives on through to make a mess of things.
Freebie here, penalty coming.
Penalty asked for, played it low, leave him alone.
Less than 9 minutes to play and Ford eager to crack on. Oh, he's missed touch. That's a bad miss.
Bring him on!
Brilliant clearance as well. Such a tight angle.
Ball still live. No more. Like that. Where it crossed the line, fellas, not where it landed.
That had to find touch, didn't it?
A lot of people have written them off as not being the force that they have been over the last few years. Getting into the playoffs in the 4th spot, and they've won it.
First team to claim the title from outside the top 2 of the regular season. Squeezing into that 4th place, remember, with the big win over London Welsh on the final day. But the smiles are already beginning to break out. The clock has gone red, and the ball is in touch. And Saracens take the title at something of a canter. The pain of 12 months ago gives way to unconfined joy. Comfortably the better side on the day. They were smart, they were intense, they were clinical, and you can forget last year's agony. Saracens are the 2015 Premiership champions, and very good value for it. 3 tries to 1, they had to withstand the fight back from Bath, which we knew would come, but it wasn't enough. A second Premiership crown for Mark McCall and the rest of his boys. Experience winning the day.
Yeah, and I think 2 sides that are really good to watch all season. At times Bath have been absolutely sublime. Tries of sheer and utter individual brilliance and team chaos. I've really loved watching Bath this year. They've really come back to the fore, and they will definitely be a force in years to come. The Saracens, like you said, Ali, they've been efficient, they've been well drilled, but let's not take anything else away from them. They've had real quality. They've scored some amazing tries. Their kicking game's been better than anyone else. And across the season, I think it's been fantastic to watch both both of these teams, and Sarries, well, they deserved it. Can't argue with that today.
I'd agree, and Bath have struggled a bit over the last few years against Saracens because they play that structured game, and we've seen Bath this season, when their attacking player hasn't always been able to work, they've been able to go to plan B and go through the forwards. Today, the final, maybe they didn't want to do that, and because they gave away those early tries, they were always chasing the game, and that plays into Saracens' hands. But take nothing away, great season for both sides. It'll hurt for Bath, they'll come back. It's their 150th year next year, and Bruce Craig wants to win it in that, but Saracens today rightly the winners.
Yes, Bath's wait for league silverware continues, 19 years and counting, but for Brad Barrett and friends, it is success, and it is no doubt a great deal of relief as well when you factor in what they had to go through at the back end of last season, the crushing disappointment of those two finals lost in the space of 8 days. It has provided an enormous amount of fuel for this campaign. They fought it in a different way. They lost a lot more matches this season. They fluctuated in form a good deal, but they've come to the ball at the right time, and players like Jacques Berger and Chris Wiles have really put them on the front foot in the latter stages, and they are good value for their victory. 28 points to 16. Here's Martin Bayfield.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, with Owen Farrell. Owen bloodied but buoyant at the moment. What a difference 12 months on from the agony of last year. Jubilation, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's been a good season for us. You know, we've had to work hard to get to where we are today, and you know that's pulled us tighter as a group, and it's made us work hard. And you know, we felt calm going into this game. You know, we've drawn on a couple of experiences that we've had before. You know, thankfully we've come good on the day.
And what about that first half? That seemed to be the point where not only did you put your marker down, but I wouldn't say you finished Bath off, but you put a lot of doubt in their minds, made it very difficult for them to come back.
No, we built a good lead. We built a good lead. We had to stay on it in the second half. You know, not everything went our way. We knew they were going to come at us and throw everything at us from the start of the second half like they did. You know, and you know, thankfully we not held on in there, but we did our job and got the win. 18
points for you, productive day. A nice little touch, I saw you walking over, just giving Anthony Watson a shake on the hand. A bit of a clash with him early doors.
Yeah, you know, there was no intent there. Unfortunately, I've caught him, and no one wants to see someone go off at the start of a game like that. And you know, obviously, I said sorry, so but there's no intent.
Try for you. What did you think when you saw a little Jamie George scuffling over for his try?
I didn't think he was going to make it at first, but you know, thankfully he did.
Well, it's been a remarkable performance. We've got a gentleman here from Aviva, Kevin Tudor, who's going to hand you a bottle of champagne and the Peter Deacon medal as the Aviva Premiership Man of the Match. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
So a shake of the hands for Brad Barrett. Brad, every time I speak to you, you've got stitches somewhere in your body, you have blood on your shirt. I mean, we knew that you were going to have to defend well. The first half almost seemed, well, I hate to say easy, but everything went your way. The second half, Bath came at you hard.
Yeah, it was always going to be a tale of two halves. But this Saracens team, we probably haven't got credit for the way we attacked, the way we took the game to Bath in that first half. When we had our best, we can be unstoppable. And credit to Bath, they did fight back, but the resilience within this team, I think, you look back 12 months ago and what we had to endure in that testing times, that last minute, showed today the willingness that the team can fight. And obviously under Mark McCall and the leadership of the coaches, they've galvanised this team and just made them fight for every inch.
It hasn't been the walk to the top of the table that it was last year for you guys. As you say, you've had to battle. Jacques Berger, he's the guy that people focus on defensively, but it seems that you all took a leaf out of his book. Everyone's got a plan until they get hit. You used to quote good old Mike Tyson on that. It worked for Jacques Berger, it worked for all of you today.
Exactly. I think with this team, it just shows the pressure you can endure both with the ball and without the ball. But it's more the fight with the team, the togetherness. People speak of culture, people speak of what being a team is, but when you're at Saracens, you truly feel that. And the way the guys fight for everything, being best friends on and off the pitch, really galvanises you in these tough times.
Well, remarkable performance. Congratulations. You don't want to be talking to me, you want to be with those teammates. Well done. Enjoy the...